Okay, hey everybody, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Stacy Jones-Hill. I'm the communications director for the Hollywood Fringe. Yes, I've been here since the beginning. And we're so excited that you guys are going to be part of our 10th festival this year. We're really looking forward to, this is our 10th year. We're very excited about it. I have just a few announcements before we get started with our lovely panelists who are going to give you guys some awesome information to take with you. Is this your first Fringe, everybody?
Yes.
If it's not your first Fringe, hold up your hand. Okay, great. I love seeing people come back.
Yeah.
It means that there's a purpose for this. Okay, so I wanted to thank everybody at the complex for having us today. We really love the support of all our venues. We are going to be recording this, so if you have friends that are out of town and really want to see some more information about this, you can refer them to our YouTube page. We have some other staff present that aren't in the room at the moment, but we've got Alex, our outreach coordinator, is out there. You may have checked you in. Ellen, our outreach director, will be here shortly. You guys probably all know her. We've got Dave, our producing director, is around here as well. And maybe some others will come in and out. Who knows? After this, we're gonna have a mixer at the Broadwater Plunge just right down the street. They're opening early just for us, which is really nice. And they will donate 20% of the proceeds from today's mixer to the Fringe, which is really very generous of them.
Yeah.
So we would love for you to come have a drink, support Fringe, and chat with us at the same time. We have got our next Twitter chat on Monday. Anybody join any of the Twitter chats? Yeah? They're a lot of fun. They're fast and furious. Don't feel like you have to keep up with them the whole time, because even those of us that have been doing it for a long time can't. So it's just fun to get on there and kind of see different people's personalities. Really fun. So that's from 7 to 8 p.m. on Monday. Use the hashtag HFF19. Then next office hours, everybody been going to office hours? You go on Wednesdays. That's a nice opportunity to tell people about your shows. The next one will be at Pig and Whistle, and that's, again, they donate part of the proceeds from the night to Fringe, and then there's drink specials for Fringe, so it's a great opportunity to come and meet some people. That will be Wednesday at 7 to 10 p.m. And then if you'd like, we also have our Dining About Fringe program, which is for all ages, and it's not centered around booze. So if that's not really your thing, we also have Dining About Fringe. That's going to be happening on this Thursday at Eat This from 6 to 8. And that's another really fun kind of chance to get to know some other people. We've got tickets going on sale really soon. On May 1st, there is going to be another town hall happening on May 5th at 3. And that's all about like ticketing, discount codes, and all of that kind of stuff that you're going to want to know right around May 1st. So any questions that you have about that, it'll be led by our lovely festival director, Ben Hill. And then our final workshop will be on May 11th, and that's all about how to tech your Fringe show. And that is chock full of amazing information led by two of our favorite tech guys in the area, Corwin and Brandon, and they are just fantastic. So they will give you lots of stuff. Oh, thank you. My coffee's here. There's Ellen. Okay, and so we've got a few other things that are going to be coming out in the newsletter this week, so keep your eye on the mailbox if you haven't been doing that already. These are a couple great opportunities that people like to take advantage of. We've got drink sponsorships are going to be opening up. For $100, we do a drink that we promote your show. We do 2 drinks a night at Fringe Central, which Fringe Central is going to be literally about 200 feet that way in a little space, La La Land Gallery. So we do two sponsored drinks a night. That's an awesome opportunity. You can go to the homepage right now, and on those slides that go across the top of the homepage, there's one that says drink sponsorships, and you can click on it and go right to the form and submit your idea today. And that's all first come, first serve. So get on applying for that as soon as you can. We've also got award sponsors coming up. If you have a nonprofit group that's like-minded and you guys want to award somebody in the Fringe for something more specific than what we do the community voted awards, which are all top of category. But sponsored awards are great because people come in and they will really recognize something that's niche and specific and outstanding, and it's really a great way to kind of balance out those awards. But we need people that, like you guys, that want to help support a certain aspect of our community to do that. So that'll be coming up next week as well. Deadlines for that will be May 15th and June 1st. And then we've got Cabaret is going to be opening up applications on Monday, May 13th. Cabaret is, do you guys, anybody know what Cabaret is? Cabaret is like a program that we run. It's going to not be in Fringe Central this year because of the space. It's going to be in a very nearby bar about a couple blocks, El Floridita. And we're going to have specific performance dates, June 6th, 9th, 13th, 16th, 20th, and 27th from 7 to 8:30. We pick a bunch of shows and you do like a little snippet of it. And so people can come and get a little taste of your show before they commit to seeing the full thing. And people bring an audience that way, and it's a nice way to meet other shows as well. So recommend keeping your eye out for that. That will open on May 15th. So I think that's, you can also follow HFF Cabaret on Twitter or join the Facebook group, and you'll get notified about that way as well. So a lot of stuff coming out this week, opportunities to network and continue marketing your shows. But you guys are here, so you clearly are already in the know. I think if you guys need any other questions about anything, you can always contact my friend Dave here at support@hollywoodfringe.org, and he will answer your questions. We are always happy to help point you in the right direction if you need help. So that is my long speech of announcements. Let's get down to the really fun stuff with you guys. I would like you guys to just go in a row and introduce yourselves and your experience with Fringe and anything else you feel like sharing.
I have so much to share. I'm wearing these sunglasses because I just got a weird eye wax and my eyes are red. So that's what's happening. Not
She's
my
also
eyes,
too cool.
Not my eyes, but it's like, okay, and that's what's happening. I love you all so much. My name is Farah, and I've been involved with the Fringe since 2014, I think it was.
I think it was sooner than that. It was like 2012 or 13.
Yeah, probably. Like I know, but she shaves a couple years off. You know, and I did. I do a character named Fancy, and I do a lot of other stuff. But I did my first year with Fringe, and it was like amazing, and I had so much fun. And then I like came back my second year, and it was just like one of the best experiences of my life. Honestly, being in Los Angeles and being an artist. So ever since then, I've gotten to do like different things. I got there was a show called Women that one top of Fringe that I got to like play in LA for 3 years. 3 months after the New York cast had to like go back home. I get it. And I also got the opportunity to be involved in the creation of the diversity scholarship. So if you guys either tried out for that, or if you are winners, that was me. No, I'm just kidding. It was me. It was a panel of people, but
you were heavily involved.
I'm heavily
program.
involved.
Yes.
So, other than that, I'm a Fringe Femme hashtag. If you are a female, I'm involved in Los Angeles Female Playwright Initiative. I go see check-ins for that. That's a really great organization that like partners with the Fringe, and they're awesome. I can talk to you about that. I can definitely talk to you about the Fringe Cabaret. I've hosted as myself and Fancy a whole bunch of times, and I think it's really important to do it if you can. I mean, maybe not every show is cabaret-esque, but like to think of a way to like do yours anyway. And I won't talk about this. And then, yeah, that's really it. I love the Fringe, and I'm here to talk about it.
And you got a ton of nominations and stuff for Fancy.
Yeah, I won Best Cabaret, so I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad you did.
I want you guys to all say that stuff. Okay. Please brag a little bit.
Okay.
Please brag a little bit.
Yeah, my first show was, I did my first show, and I was like nominated for Best Solo Show, but I didn't get it the first year, which that's fine. I came back
It wasn't
hard.
my decision.
It was personally yours, which was weird. No, I really enjoyed the Fringe though, and I'm like, I champion, great shows, inventive shows. If you're a person of color or diverse in some way and or female, I have like extra love for you because I guess I am both those things. So like, but I will talk to anyone at any time, and you can always get to me on Twitter or Instagram because I'm like on that phone. So at Farah, you can get to me and I will like talk to you about it. Anyway, thank you so much. I love you. I'm so happy we're on a panel together because we both have like character shows.
Yeah. Sure. Hi, I'm Jeffrey Wylie. My first Fringe was the second Fringe. In 2011, I directed a show that year, and every year I've done something, either produced, directed, or acted in something. it's really an amazing experience. I know you keep hearing people say that, but it's very true. It's in a way, it's like a summer camp when you were a kid, because there's people that you see just every summer, but you will also make friends, especially if you live here in LA, that you will become friends outside of Fringe during the rest of the year. It is such an amazing collection of people that are all here for the same thing, to create art and to encourage you to get your art up and support you. What else?
Tell me about your shows.
I have in 2012 I wrote a show called Texas Loves Lila. It's a one-woman show with themes of bullying, adult bullying, and gay teen suicide. I won Best Solo Show that year. And other things I've done over the years have been nominated for different things. Aunt Lila is my alter ego. She's actually my aunt from South Texas. And she's here you'll see her at the opening night party and other events and stuff. She's hosted karaoke or the cabaret at times and things. So you'll see her floating
I feel
around.
like we need to talk about you guys doing something together. That'd be fun.
That'd be really fun.
My Aunt Lila's up for game. I'd get for anything.
Oh,
And,
Fancy's down for literally anything.
Yeah. And Lila's about 7 feet tall with big, tall, red, curly hair. So you'll see, if you see her, just come up and say hi. So, she's very nice. But it's an amazing experience on all levels, whether you are a writer, director, performer, producer, especially if you're starting out. It's a great place to learn, because it's cheaper than putting up a full show anywhere in LA in a small theater. And you have, again, such a great support group of everyone around you to help you and give you ideas and answer your questions. So I'm glad you're here. It's a great experience for you.
Yeah, maybe there's new best friends for each of us in this audience. I mean, it's true. It does happen every year. It's like we're all excited about the new bunch of people that are coming in.
It's summer camp.
We need new blood every year, Billy, right? Go ahead.
Hello, I am New Blood.
Yeah, you are. Well, you are.
So my name is Billy Ray Brewton. I'm from Alabama, which is why I have that name.
And accent.
And accent, that's right. This is my second Fringe. Last year was my first Fringe. I wrote and directed a show called A Beast of Burden, which we did over at the Broadwater. And it was a delightful experience. We were a finalist for Best Ensemble Theater, and we got a Broadwater extension, and then we took it to Soho Playhouse in New York for a really short run back in December/January. And I had moved out here about 6 years ago, and every year I said, you know what, I'm going to do a Fringe show this year. Then every year we get to the deadline, I'd be like, it's so much work. I kept finding excuses not to do it. And then last year, for whatever reason, I was like, I'm just going to not give myself an excuse this year, and I'm just going to do it. And so, obviously super glad that I did. Doing 2 shows this year. I'm directing a show called Son of a Bitch over at the Broadwater again, and then producing a show. I'm directing that one, and then I'm producing a show called Rory and the Devil at the Thymele Arts Center. So I decided one show wasn't enough, that I needed to do 2 and drive myself into an early grave. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, summer camp and film festival is both very apt descriptions of Fringe. I mean, it's a great place to just sort of immerse yourself in every different type of theater for the course of a month, which is, there's so much worse things you could be doing than that. I mean, it's a blast. And, last year, and just an example of talking about making friends, last year we did a show, we became friends with another show that was performing over at McCadden, and then this year we kind of joined forces, and both shows came together to do one different show. So it's a really easy way to meet people and kind of collaborate and work with folks that you might not otherwise get to work with. And that's always a fun thing. And I'll keep talking later.
We're glad you're here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Katelyn.
Hello! I'm Katelyn Schiller. This is my fifth year doing Fringe, and I'm an addict, hardcore, because I just love the shit you guys come up with. I love the magic, and I love the self-starting aspect of Fringe. I think that's what I have the most respect for. Everyone here, like here on this day, like you're here because you're here to learn, you want to expand your horizons, you want to make friends, you want to ask questions before you make some mistakes. Like, it's just, it's just a place to explore and create, and everyone wants you to fucking succeed. And I think that's my favorite aspect of the community. Like, everyone wants you to win. And everyone thinks their show is the best fucking show ever, too. And you were like, yes, it is! And mine is too, and it's great! And so we all just like are excited for each other and what's possible. And that's what blows me away each and every year. What is possible? They're like the things that some people come up with, like, I wish I had thought of that, but I'm so glad that you did first. And I got to witness it. Because I was just... yeah, so I started in 2015. I actually saw somebody do a solo show the year before. And I was like, I think I can do that. But you know, when you're in theater, often like, you need all these people in order to be able to do it, and you don't. It's actually right here, and Fringe sets it up in such a way that the format is right in front of you. It's networking for dummies. Like, I have learned so much about how to like go up and talk to people, and be with people, and be myself, and be uncomfortable in that, but in a really fun way. And I think that's been the greatest asset, just like how to like be me as an artist, but be excited for you as well. So yeah, I did a solo show because I was like, he did it, I can do it. It was Ben Morosky's The Wake, it was amazing. And then I actually took, so like no matter the awards or the accolades, you're gonna get like one-liners from like people who review your show. That takes you everywhere. Like, I toured that solo show for like 2 years, just on like what the momentum I gained for Fringe, and other Fringes had seen me and reached out to me, and like that was amazing. So I got to experience that, and there are Fringers who like that, they do that year round. Like Les Kirkendall, he does that like constantly. Is he still? I don't even know what he's doing it now, but yeah, there's just like the format is so on point, and people are always here to support you. Like I'm just like, how can I stretch this? How can I learn this format and try a different type of art, a different type of way to reach people? So there's just so much flexibility. Once you know the rules, how do you break them? Yeah, last year we were lucky enough to come home. Lucid Dramatics is my company. We got Best Ensemble work, which was very flattering, and I don't know if we deserved it because there were so many like great fucking people doing great fucking work.
You beat us.
Your show was great.
Yes.
She beat us.
This year I'm doing something extra scary. I'm tackling an immersive show called The Pod. It's a single writer, so it's one audience member, 20 minutes, sci-fi immersion experience. So it's like 3 actors, 1 audience. So like figuring out how to do that is kind of like terrifying and really yummy. So yeah. And then my cohort, Kelly Pierre, who worked on Laertes, Loves Hamlet, Loves Ophelia, which won last year, she's also doing In the Same Room, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, we're doing like 2 shows, trying to spread out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just really happy you're here, and I want to hear about all that you want to do.
And we will get to you guys' questions in a little while too. So if you guys have specific questions, feel free to jot them down, and we'll try to get through as many of them as we can after we address a few bullet points. First, I'm going to dramatically walk across the stage to get my coffee. So the first thing I really want to talk about is what you guys think people should be doing at this point. We're like 6 weeks from previews.
Oh.
What should people be doing right now?
Finishing your scripts,
Okay.
if you have to, because a lot of people do right up until the last minute. But
And get the script on the feet, like if you're a solo writer, like, cause sometimes it changes and, like make sure, like book time for yourselves and start doing like practice work in like a rehearsal space that maybe is different from your house or whatever, so you can start that exploratory process now. I would also say that like, because you'll be doing networking stuff soon, get that postcard made. I know it sounds like you can do more than 1 postcard, but like get one made now, something. When I say postcard, like business card, because you're at a Fringe event right now. Do you know that?
How many of you have cards with you right now? Awesome.
You were on it. You're on it.
But like, when you go to the networking hours at the bars and stuff like that, like they already have their cards. I mean, so like, and you can get a card made in 2 days, gotprint.com. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have to pay a little extra, who knows, I'm not quite sure. But,
we've got deals in the participant packet as well. If you go to hollywoodfringe.org/participants, there's a few printing discounts there as well. But
you guys are great. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like spitballing.
No, that's also amazing.
I also feel like, so 6 months, or so sorry, you wish, 6 weeks out, I would also be doing exactly like everything that was talked about in the announcements. Like, to go to the Twitter chat, like that literally is on your couch, it's on your phone wherever you are, like checking in, like put your name out there, like put your like, if you can't like for some reason like start an account for your show, like maybe like your name and then the hashtag of your show, like start that shit now, you know, like by shit I mean great things. So postcard that, and then making sure that like you're on your feet if you're a solo writer and getting your last minute tweaks in, I think it's really important.
I would say it's never too soon to be working on your marketing strategy for the festival. Like, how many folks out here, is anyone out here using like a PR company to do their marketing for you?
I really do want to talk a lot about this
Yeah,
stuff,
because
so.
I that was something that we did last year. We started early on. We regimented out what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. That way we weren't missing deadlines, because it's easy when you're going to office hours and you're doing all these things and you're rehearsing, it's really easy to forget to actually market your show. And I mean, there's one thing, and there's a lot to be said for, you know, I think absolutely you need to have your postcards, you need to get your posters ready, whatever you need to do print material wise, but also just in terms of like your overall marketing strategy, I think is important to devise early on so you don't get 2 weeks out and realize, oh crap, I haven't done this yet.
Yeah.
So what do you think people should be doing with marketing at this point? Just making the plan?
Well,
like, should they be
buy
starting
ads.
implementing on anything?
Once they can buy ads on the site.
Absolutely, like buying ads. I think if it depends on, you know, if you're a social media person, like I don't think it's ever too early to go ahead and get your events created. I tend to go a little early on that side just in general, because I feel like you can sort of tier it out, especially if you're doing like paid boosts and stuff like that. I think postcards and posters are super crucial. Ads on the site, I think, and even just like in just researching, like if you've got a show that appeals to a very specific subset of people, like researching like who are the people in the city and in the community that I should be reaching out to let them know about my show. Even if you're not going to contact them quite yet, you can go ahead and start getting that list together, so when you are ready, you've already got it, and then you don't have to put the time in at the last minute when you could be doing other things to get the show together.
Yeah.
I would say also in starting to contact people that you know in promoting your show, in your own lives, don't overlook your non-theater people in your email lists and stuff. I mean, at this point, just send out to everyone you know, all your friends on Facebook and through your regular emails, hey, I'm doing a show in June, heads up, you know, you'll be hearing more about it. Just to plant something in people's minds. I think it is for advertising. People need to see something, a sign or whatever, 3 times before they really click in.
Yeah.
So even start now, just putting the word out there so people know, oh yeah, there's something in June, and then next month do another little tweak, just so that it gets in their mind, because it will make a difference. And someone who might not even be involved in theater, but a friend of yours, showing up to your show if they've heard about it 3 or 4 times over the next few months.
So we talked a little bit about, just touched on like marketing and publicity. Do you guys use publicists? Do you suggest using publicists? Where do you spend money and where do you save money? Because obviously you could spend thousands of dollars, billions of dollars marketing your Fringe show if you really had the money, right? But you kind of have to like pick your thing, right? Like you can't do it all.
Sure.
Yeah. I didn't have a publicist.
I never spent the money on it either, just because I didn't have that disposable cash. But buying, he mentioned Billy Ray, you know, buying the hits on the site are really great. It's a great way because it's you can buy basically any dollar amount, and it's easy to track. Like you know, I don't know how much money for say 500 hits or 1,000 hits, and at any time you can go on and click and see how many you have left. You know, and that the click is anytime someone's on the site, and every time you go to a page, you know, those ads pop up. Yeah, impressions. So different ads pop up.
Yeah.
And so again, you can track it really easily and see, you know, what kind of mileage you're getting out of it. And if you want to run up, you could spend $25 more bucks,
Sure.
you know, midway through the festival to buy a few more.
So you're all talking about the online ad. That's amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like what I buy, like the online ad. But I don't know if you know this, you can turn it on and off. So look for like when is gonna be a high traffic time. When are people gonna be on the site? And that's when you're like on May 1st, really on. Tickets are on sale. Oh look, I'm at the site. Oh look, you want to click on that? Yeah. So that's a fun little
sure. You guys have like have you done any other marketing that's like
Better
specifically
Lemons.
for your show, like
Oh.
that was
Yeah, I would say two things. Yeah, A, can also buy ads on Better Lemons, but two things that I think that we can talk about this. Think of something, if your show has something that you can like blow out and then use as a marketing thing. Like my show's easy because I am a character. I'm playing a character. I'm playing like Fancy Jean Baker, and she's based on a song by Bobby Gentry. If you know that song, it's a Southern storytelling song. So I could just dress up as her and go to events, which is like what, but like maybe there's something in your show that you can do that, or a weird prop or something. But like, and you're like, hi, I'm doing it right now. Thanks, Detra, we're front row. But I mean, like honestly, at first it's kind of scary, because it's like sometimes people will look at you and be like, do I want to be able to deal with this right now? But like, that makes sense, But like, I think as long as you are like, everyone is warm and chill and authentic, like. This speaks to also like going to meet people and so instead of starting with what your show is, like generally listen to what other people's show is first. Like it makes them feel relaxed, and like that's a life tip, honey. People love talking about themselves. You know what I'm saying? So like compliment them, let them talk about themselves, and then like give your your spiel. That's just word of mouth publicity. So that's free publicity. The other free publicity is social media. Like we're talking about buying ads, and absolutely do it, but like. This is a new 2019. We are on that Twitter. It's HFF19 hashtag. It's like friendships. It's like what I'm talking about. If you're a female playwright, the LAFPI and Fringe Femmes is making sure you're on their site. That's like, I mean, this is just free. So why not? You have to be on social media doing this. Like if you can't afford a publicist, I get it. And none of us, I guess, obviously did either, but like I was on that Twitter and Instagram, like, and there's no reason not to. And Instagram ads are not expensive to buy. And if you think older people are on Facebook, then do Facebook. I mean, I don't know why I said that. I guess.
Yeah. Because I'm old.
Okay.
I would say we researched last year. We thought about doing. I've worked for years with film festivals, and so I first thing I did was like, let's see if we want to do a publicist, because I know how beneficial, at least in the film festival, where they could be. So we start. I mean, I'm certainly not going to name drop anybody, because I think there are very great publicists out there who do an amazing job. But we did a little initial research, and I didn't find anything that anyone was going to be able to do that I couldn't do myself.
Yeah.
And so if I can do it myself, and make sure it takes me a little extra time, but if it saves me that money, awesome. And I would also say on that, and of what you can do, I would not underestimate the power of really effective video marketing.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing for us last year. It did really well for us. We did a trailer. We did some little social media videos.
So smart.
It helps that like my lead actor last year and this year is like an amazing director and editor and all that stuff. I know everybody doesn't have that at their disposal necessarily, but everybody can make a video. Everybody can do fun stuff with video. So I would say that's something to really explore, and I think it's really, really beneficial.
So smart.
Yeah.
You mind if I ask her a question about something? Didn't you do a specific partnership with somebody for your show?
Oh yeah. I was gonna bring that up and then I forgot about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because I think it's just a really interesting way to build up your show a little bit.
I mean, find what makes your like. There's a lot of things that make your show special and unique, and try and think of inventive ways to help market that. And there is literally a billion ways. So like, my character is a sex positive worker. Yeah. Okay. And I never said that before out loud, but like, yeah, that does make sense.
I like that.
So I went to like Pleasure Chest, which is a really great company, and I think that they also like come at sex with a really positive message, and very inclusive and very fun store on Santa Monica, and it looks great on the outside. And like and weirdly, I didn't know this, but Kate was like working. I think that they have changed their names. Anyway, well, regardless, someone was working at the Fringe that was working there, and then so they set me up with a situation, and I got to have like a little partnership with them. I got to like shoot in front of their store, and they gave me gift cards, and my like show was like a cabaret, so I could just give them out to people. It was really awesome. And like, you can find that, like, who knows, like, can you partner with the smoothie place for some reason? Maybe, You know, I don't know what your show's about. I can't wait to find out, you know, but like find little places that might give you some money, you know, like, and who would like want to buy an ad in your programs, you know?
Or even like a little extra, like last year I did a show about Chris Burton, who is a performance artist, and we reached out to LACMA because, you know, Urban Lights and Metropolis 2 are both of his works, and they're at LACMA. They put us on a couple of their blasts, and so that's a huge deal. We
That's
sold 50.
huge.
We
Really
probably
good.
sold 50 tickets just from that.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge deal if you can get someone to do that. The worst thing to say is no. I mean,
And also, on top of that, looking at your lives again, outside of theater, all the people you know, put a flyer, poster up at your work if you can. If you have a local coffee shop or restaurant you're at all the time, any relationship you have, go in and say, hey, can I put this up? I'll give you 2 tickets or something to the owners. You know, because it's fascinating every year at Fringe, going through the crowds, how many people you hear, patrons coming in, audience members coming in that, oh, they've never even heard of Fringe, or I never go to the theater. This is my first theater I've been to experience in years. So it's great to pull people in like that. Don't ever, as Katelyn said, don't hesitate ever to flyer people, to put the word out there to someone, because you just never know who's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any advice about like getting people to come see your show and review your show? Like what? I mean, you know, you reach out to press, right? Like you guys, we've talked about how we generally cover it ourselves and don't hire someone. I know a lot of people do hire people though as well, and I'd be interested to hear if anybody here is having a successful experience with that. But I mean, I feel like it's different when you're specifically trying to get them to come and review, right?
Well, I think if you start now just once a month, you don't want to inundate people, you know, online and what have you. But once you start planting the seed in people's minds, even after your first performance, whether it's in previews or the first week of Fringe, if you get some good, and the review doesn't have to be, you know, from a publication. There's a, you know, place on the site for every show for audience reviews. If you get a couple of good audience reviews, say here's some audience reviews, and as soon as your first show goes up and you get some reviews on there, send out another release or post something online, send out an email saying, hey, we just had our first show. Let people engage people, so that as they follow your story, it will help encourage them to want to come in.
Yeah, emails get sent out to all the people who purchase tickets on the website immediately after your performance. So it'll be sent out to them automatically and say, hey, like review this show. And I think you can turn that off too, but
I feel
we
like
suggest doing it.
Something you can do that's kind of you like always do personal. I really refrain from spamming. I choose very pointedly when I'm going to reach out and do a mass post. Like I try to do it very pointedly, because when you're like packing your punch and you're giving your show and your story, and here we are and we exist, you know, like I want to hold you in that moment and not see you every day. You know, I'm like, I see you, we're coming. So like when you're releasing your information, like think about when tickets go on sale, when people are actually buying tickets, because like some go on sale like the first day, and then like you don't see ticket sales for like a few weeks, and then you know it's 2 weeks before previews and people are like, oh, I gotta buy tickets. Like, so think about that. But also like go and look at old reviews from past years, you know, maybe shows that are similar to what you're doing. Look at who reviewed them.
Yep.
And you can reach out to them and message them and say like, hey, you've been interested in this type of thing before, we're doing this, and I'd love to have you, here's a comp. But also like don't, be careful not to guilt anybody to come into your show. That is really important to me. Like, be there, be available, but you don't know what people's lives are like and what everyone's doing. And everyone's working their ass off and trying to do, like, show up for other people, but also show up for their own mental and emotional health while putting yourself out there really vulnerably. So be kind and be like, I see you, I'd love to have you, but no pressure. You might have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes me think of one thing. When you're out in public, whether at a Fringe event or anywhere, and you're flyering, I don't know if any of you have experience in flyering for any event in your life. You might be at a big event and you keep trying to hand people flyers, and so many people will just say, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. And I have seen people, beginners especially, 2 or 3 people say, oh no, I don't want a flyer, and they get all, oh well, no one wants me. No, forget it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
You know,
fine.
there will be people that take your flyers, and there will be people occasionally that are like, I'm not interested, or no. that's their issue. Don't take it personally. Don't get upset. You just stay positive and keep doing what you're doing. And say, okay, thanks.
I also, my running theory with the flyers too is, of course, I pass them out like a madman, like everybody does. But my natural innate assumption is the moment I hand you my flyer and walk away, you're going to toss it in the garbage. So mine's all about what's the, however long, if it's 30 seconds or if it's 3 minutes or whatever, that I've got your attention to tell you about my show. Like that's, to me, like that's the bread and butter right there. Like maybe they'll keep the flyer. I mean, I keep mine. I have a stack by the end of it. It's like that
No,
tall.
it's like Friends.
But like, it's kind of fun to see them, and it's like I keep them, but I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people just set them on a table, or they take them, chuck them in the bathroom, and it's sad, but it's true. And so, I think having a not rehearsed. You don't want to sound robotic, but like just knowing the points that you need to get across. And I think that also relates to getting people to come and see your show, whether it's regular people, whether it's reviewers. I think if you've got an angle for your show, like don't be afraid to exploit your angle. Like if you got one, like I'm doing a show this year about a Republican strategist, and so I'm not a Republican. I can't name 3 friends I have who are Republicans, but I'm going to exploit it to the Republicans like nobody's business. So don't be afraid to exploit your angle.
And what you were saying about getting your pitch down, think of your elevator pitch. You should be able to boil down your show in 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Make sure instead of just
Just
having,
easier on yourself.
Yeah. You don't want to spend 10 minutes. Well, this happens and then this happens. No, it's like what it's
It's
about.
like I want to see it.
What's your tagline? That's going to stick in people's, be an earworm in people.
Because also when when meeting someone for the first time, yes, your pitch is important, but to me it's more about the non-pitch part of that conversation. Like, that's what's going to make someone remember you. That's how you're going to stand out, is by actually making like a personal human connection with them versus, I think the pitch is important. You want them to remember your show too, but I think it's more about also just remembering, oh, that person that I met there, like, oh, we had that conversation about, elephants. I don't know, whatever. I see the Republicans on the brain.
Inside joke about
If you are a
elephants.
really awesome person, I just want to go to your show. I don't even know what the show is about, but because you were so awesome, like I'm going. And that's what I like. Everyone's like angles and elevator speech, and it all sounds really like corporate and scary. I just try to go have like 2 to 5 meaningful conversations with people, and if we end up talking about our friend shows, like awesome, but I don't put that pressure on myself to get on a certain number of postcards. Like some people do, and good on you, but like when I do finally hand over that postcard and we've been talking for like 10 minutes about like our moms or whatever, like we're gonna have that connection, and that you're gonna hold onto that piece of paper a little bit tighter, I think.
I think it goes back to what you were saying about how Fringe teaches you networking 101. Like, everyone networks differently. That is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, and here's the thing, it's not just that Fringe teaches you networking. It does. It actually also teaches you marketing, right? Mm-hmm. It teaches you producing 101.
Yes.
It teaches you content creating 101. And by content creating, I mean like we're talking about making trailers for your films. And we're also talking about getting reviews after your first preview and then using those reviews to make marketing emails. Do you know what I'm saying? Everything is connected. You're actually learning these weird skills now. Yeah. Like that is what Fringe honestly gives, like a format to learn all of this. This kind of is like some awesome, like content creating, marketing, producing, theater artistry, like workshops that you're going to for this whole time you're actually also doing a show. So like think about that also in the sense of how much work this is, and do the self-care that you need to like not tell everyone you're gonna go see your shows. If you want to see a show, sincerely be like, it sounds so great, I know exactly how it's all gonna play out because I'm doing one too. Say no to like family, say no to friends during this commitment. Like take care of yourselves and your shows and learn all you can as like some sort of sponge.
Okay, this is a perfect transition into a different thing that I want to talk about.
Great.
This is one of my favorite things to talk about with new Fringers, because you will find out what June is like very soon. We are here to help you with some tips on how to survive June, because it can be very intense. There's so many shows, there's so many people, there's so much to do, and it's nonstop for the whole month. So when she says say no, like I know our outreach director Ellen has scheduled in breaks for herself this year, and that's like a big deal for you, right? Like it's one of those things things that you really do need to be mindful about it even before we get into Fringe season. Think about when you're gonna have breaks, and don't give in to FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Don't give in.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So anyway, we should talk about, like, is it even possible to maintain a Fringe life balance during June? Like, or is it just all Fringe?
I would say, I don't know if I can answer that quite yet. I would say, but on that vein of what to do to help you do that is, stay healthy. You know, take your vitamin C, drink plenty of fluids.
Get IVs.
Anything
Water.
you can do.
Water.
I mean, look, I'm a fan of modern medicine. So at the beginning of Fringe, I used to do this before every film festival started. Not everybody is going to want to do this, and some people will be like, "Ooh." I get my steroid, my antibiotic shot before the Fringe festival, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to make sure that I can be as functional as possible
That is
for that.
so
month.
LA. I love it.
I used to do that for film festivals. It applies for Fringe.
Honestly, I'm like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I want to do
Go
that.
get your shots, people. Go get your shots.
No, like, so what? Like, how do you prioritize life though? Like,
Dude, like schedule it. Like think about it and think about what you need first. Like you need sunshine. You need to not be outside or a theater all the time. You need to like be taking walks. You need to like do whatever kind of like exercise you do. You need to be eating healthy. You can't eat shit. You can't like come home after Fringe Central and not have food in your house or just like, I mean, I love a food truck, but like eat some vegetables, eat some fruits, make sure you're regular, make sure you sleep, like, and I mean like sleep. I mean like take naps in the day or like don't like just let yourself sleep in if you can, or for some reason that's not a possibility, go to bed. Like, just turn off the TV and turn off your computers and go to bed when you can.
When you're fringing, fringe hard, and when you're not fringing, fucking forget about it. Just do your
Very
thing,
good advice.
have your time. Like even now, like even getting ready for my shows, like I know from like the time I also have a day job, and so during that period of time, I shut off from Fringe. It's like I don't get to do work on Fringe for this chunk of time. This
Yeah.
has got to be devoted to this. Just turn it off. But then when you got to do it, do the hell out of
Well,
it.
that's about being present in the moment, which is like, I think that also helps is like when you are in Fringe, take a moment and breathe and be like, oh my God, this is what it is. Like, don't let everything go by all the time without like, I think that also helps. Like, when you're in Fringe Central and you just had a great conversation, make sure you have a moment to like just breathe it in and be like, this fucking shit's fun. And then when you're home, have that moment to turn off and just like breathe and be like, I'm fucking on my favorite couch. And
Maybe cry. That's sometimes what I do.
Yeah. Shower, whatever.
Cry.
What I do every year that I've been involved, I take a monthly calendar of June. So it's all right there, not even week to week, the whole month. I put on it my regular work schedule, my day job, my shows, whether I've done 5 or 7 shows, those are scheduled on there. So that I know the 2 days before my show that I can't do like everything I might want to do. Like Stacy said, fear of missing out. Oh, there's a great Fringe event the night before. You know what, if I go there, I'm gonna be tired and I'm gonna have too many beers or something. So that way you're able to look at it, and as you track yourself through the month, it helps keep you in line. I've got to take a break here. I know I can go party here. So it really helps to see it, have a visual for it.
I just hit the ground running. I just run. I just go all month. Like it's what month of the year, and you're with awesome people, and there's so much happening. Like why wouldn't you go dig your teeth in? Like take a nap in your car.
Yes,
That's
if
what I
you're
do.
still young like Katelyn. You may do this.
But
Actually, Ben used to say we can sleep in motherfucking July. He always said
yeah,
that.
that's how I feel. Because you want to be at the festival, you want to show up for other people. But yeah, there is going to be one day, and you have to decide. We're like, oh man, there's this one person show, and I promised that I was coming, and I'm so excited about it, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, and I know that's gonna hurt their feelings,
Yeah.
but I need to just be honest about that. Take those days, but other days you may think you don't want to Fringe, but actually you do need to go see that show. And then after that show, you'll be like, oh, yeah, actually that's exactly what I needed. Thank you. And I'm ready to go do some more Fringe. But also just know like people have way more energy preview week. Like think of like how like everyone's energy, like people start to get burned out, stop, just just be aware when people are going to show up and when people need naps.
I love it. Do you guys have any tips for navigating Hollywood during Fringe? I
Take Fountain.
I know.
Wait. Do you have any secret parking places you'd like to reveal, or?
I mean, weirdly, we did like last year. We were at the Broadwater. They were at the Broadwater, same venue as we were, and we did the whole introductory thing, and it was hammered really hard that parking was terrible there. But in fairness, we never had any issues parking up on, I guess it's Lillian. We never had any issues. Found parking every time there. Never had any issues parking there. So I mean, park on Lily. And if you can't park on Lily, just lift an Uber.
Just make sure you always have time, right?
Yeah.
You can tell in emails. You can that's what you said or whatever. Like I went to a party recently that was in like the hills, and this sounds so shishi. But in their invitation, they were like Uber or Lyft here. There's no parking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, okay. That's what's happening. I'll build it into the cost of the ticket. Maybe you can make a fun thing about that. Like, we know parking sucks, but if you use the code Uber and you promise to Uber, you get $3 off your ticket for your, I don't know. Those are like discount code fun things. You're gonna be doing a lot of that shit in a different panel.
The next town hall will be all about that.
But I mean,
On May 5th.
I live kind of close, and so sometimes I walk here, see shows, and then like Uber home. And then you get your walking in, then you get your sunshine, and like I was going back to before,
Do you guys do hotspots at all? Do you guys take advantage of the hotspots that we do? Sometimes. We have a whole list of businesses. Alex has been working very hard on partnering with a lot of really cool businesses in the neighborhood. And you can get discounts all during June at a lot of different places. And I know for sure that the Fringe staff always uses the discounts specifically at like food places around here because we never leave, and so we're like we need to go get food at the same restaurant that we've been eating at all month. But it's nice, and they give us some really Yoshinoya. They give some really nice discounts, and there's some really cool new businesses partnering with us this year, and I think they're up on the site now, are they? Or they're about to be. They're about to be, and that's going to be at hollywoodfringe.org/hotspots. No, it's okay. It's fine. They're okay. Are you guys pissed? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's talk about more things. How do you guys set like your goals and expectations for what you want from Fringe? Because everybody's here probably for a different reason, right? Like we have different motivations for getting us to this point. What do you guys specifically want when you go into this sort of environment?
I feel like you can't want money.
You can want it. Just prepare to be crushingly disappointed.
I can't imagine, so expectations-wise, if you're thinking that you're going to make money or maybe break even, God bless if you break even. If you want to break even, do a GoFundMe or something, God bless. But I don't think that you have to, so just take money out of the equation, and that I think will be a manage of your expectations. Now, what you can expect is to get momentum and traction and words of reviews is what I should say, for your show, which is priceless. Other things you can expect if you put some effort in is networking and meeting people, but you have to leave your house for that. Like, you do a show, odds are one person will see it and will leave a review, and you get that. But at the same time, it's always about your expectations is the amount of work you are about to put in and invest in something. You get in what you get out, like what I'm talking about, learning how to market, learning how to produce, learning how to network. It also depends on you doing that work and trialing and erring and, but I think that for me, I wanted to gain momentum, to gain some traction, to have people know my name or my character's name, to get some followers on social media, to maybe get a review or two. Now I won awards, which I didn't expect, and that was amazing. So that exceeded my expectations. I never made money. I often gave away tickets for free. Because in my mind, it was more important to have a packed house than sell $15 tickets. So that was a choice, and it made that was a sacrifice, or if you can, or whatever your expectations are, that's what I weighed out.
I'll take it next. My expectations have been different each year depending on what I've been doing. If I am just acting in someone else's piece, I set my expectations on really focusing on just trying to help them get an audience in. When I've done shows that I have written a new script, I mainly it's a workshop for this script. And based on all the feedback I will get from my friends and strangers, I know that I can then go in and rework the script. It's not like, this is my script and it's in stone. No, it's my expectation would be about developing the script more. And you said something that there are 2 key words that a friend told me 20 years ago that helps in life, and you touched on it almost. Expectation management. I keep that in my head because yes, everyone wants a full house, but I'm not going to be disappointed if only 5 people show up. Expectation management, keeping those words in my mind, help me to set realistic goals personally and not be disappointed if something doesn't work out the way I want it to.
I would say, I think last year, honestly, I think I came in with 0 expectations. And for me, that was amazing because everything was just a delightful surprise. I came in, if I had expectations coming in last year, it was like, well, I'm getting to do a show that I really care about with my friends, and hopefully some people will come see it. So I was already going to have fun just because I was getting to do a fun show with a group of friends. But then, you get a sold out house. I'm like, oh, that's a delightful thing. Or then but even the houses, luckily, fortunately, most of our houses were sold out. We had a couple that were not. Even those were, great. Like you said, if 5 people show up, those could be the perfect 5 people to see your show that night. One of those people could be just as important as the 50 who see it the next night. And I think managing your expectations, or just saying, don't give yourself expectations. Just go into it with, if you certain shows you may go in, like maybe this is your first step for your show and you're just wanting to see how it works in front of a live audience. And maybe that's your expectation. Or maybe this is a show that you're very familiar with and you've done a bunch of times and you're just wanting to get it out to as many people as possible. I think if you do manage the expectations, but also just come in, if your goal is to have fun and to immerse yourself in theater, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, no expectations is the happiest way to go. You might be disappointed by the 5 people who showed up, even though you were out flyering all day. But again, you never know. But I think I get most excited for just the conversations, because I'm like, I made this and I want to know what people think, and if they have what is their interpretation. After the show conversation, I think that's the thing that I look forward to. Just either if they didn't like it or they did, tell me why. This is yummy. But I think where it can get a little seedy when you are in Fringe, I think there is sort of an expectation around I will be reviewed and I think I deserve some sort of award. And I guess you gotta be careful about that because it can be really hurtful. I've seen people kind of stomp out of the awards ceremony because they thought they were entitled because they went through the whole process. They thought they had earned some sort of acknowledgement, which of course you do, but it may not be in the format that you were wishing for. And that doesn't mean that you failed. It just means people saw your shit and they were excited about it and they wanted to talk to you about it, and what's next? Don't make it all about the awards ceremony. I think a lot of people do, and that's just, it's you just go and get drunk. That's all I do.
Yeah.
It's just politics. And just celebrate we fucking did it!
Yeah.
Let's go be dead for a month. Yeah.
That's 100% right. Do you guys have any big pet peeves when people are networking? I know we've covered a few of them, but has there ever been anything that somebody's done that you're I'm definitely not seeing your show?
Yeah.
Don't say names, please.
No.
My biggest pet peeve is when someone comes up to you and you can tell, and if you can't tell yet, you will soon enough. You can tell when someone's coming up to you with a very particular mission. And so I have a pet peeve when someone comes up, they have their card, they're they hand you their card. They're oh, this is my show, and they rattle off that robotic rehearsed speech, and then they walk away, just they go.
One and done.
And it's that is not the way, at least for me, it's I'm about the engagement. I'm about I want to meet people. Yes, I want to know about your show, but I want to know about you too. Mm-hmm. And if you're coming up to tell me all about your stuff, and you have no idea, you no desire to have that engagement, and you have no interest in whatever I'm doing, that's probably not the way to go about it, at least not with someone like me. So I'm immediately gonna, sit that postcard down on the table and be like,
Let me interrupt for 1 second because I promised Ellen that I would hit this. But if you guys are going to office hours or any of our networking events, we are really serious about you guys not leaving postcards all over the place. We want to maintain the good relationships that we have with the venues and businesses in Hollywood, and they don't love it when we leave their places trashed full of flyers. And that's my personal pet peeve is when people think that they're flyering by just leaving a bunch of flyers on a table. We set up areas in Fringe Central where you can do that, leave a stack of flyers and people will come peruse them, but don't just throw a stack of things on a bar table. You also need to make sure that you have your logo on your postcards, and you can get that taken care of at hollywoodfringe.org/branding. If you've forgotten, it's really easy to get a little sticker to add on there too. But that's if you want to have your postcards in our spaces or in the businesses and stuff, you got to make sure that branding is on there. Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, if it's two-sided, does it have to be on both sides?
No.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you.
And then going off that name tags too, do not stick them on the
Right,
top
no
or-
stickers on cars or
Yeah.
or street lamps or any of that stuff, because then if you've put our branding on a sticker and it's on the it's on some lamppost or stuff, the city's gonna get back to us and say like, hey, no.
I don't know about name tags. I would take one name tag, not four. Even if you're doing multiple shows, they are expensive and we do buy them for every event. And sometimes I see people wearing like 6 name tags and I'm like, oh my god, that's 6 people!
Okay, well anyway, that was just a very quick rant about postcards. We just always want to try to make sure you guys are informed about that kind of stuff. Did you guys have any other thoughts about pet peeves?
well, on that note, just I don't know if it's a pet peeve, but like, be smart about your postcards. Like, they ain't cheap.
Yep.
Like, don't go into a place like that and leave 100 postcards, because if they're there at the end of the night, 100 people are probably not going to grab it. If they're there at the end of the night, they're just going to get tossed probably. So like, don't waste your postcards. Be very, judicious with them. Put them in the places where they need to go. Pass them out. If both of your hands are not on a postcard with someone else at the same time, you're not utilizing it the right way.
So I want to talk a little bit about like obstacles that you guys might have faced at any point during the Fringe. Like, what's hard? What has been hard for you guys personally, and like, how did you deal with it?
Things just like come up. Suddenly your tech person's sick, or and so, suddenly you don't have a director, or there's so many things that can happen that just like is the fun parts of like just things shit popping up. Like, fires do get started. Sometimes like you're like, I'm putting out fires. There's gonna be expect the unexpected if you watch Celebrity Big Brother or whatever, in the sense of you have to kind of manage the fact that those things might happen. And so having like people on call, like make sure you know more than one tech person or stage manager person or like lighting person. Like try and see if you can get like some friends or some like people that you can ask questions to or get referrals from, just to like have that prep be there, because that's, I'm trying to think, this is like so dramatic, but like I lost some friendships in Fringe too, like there's so much good that can happen, but also like people like lose their shit and like, you get to know, some people like can't handle it. So
We're theater people.
Yeah.
We're all putting our hearts on the line, right? Like,
yeah.
It's emotional.
Yeah. I also like saying no to people that you really want to see their show, or like they were really into you seeing their show, like feeling that guilt. I hate that, you know.
Yeah, I would say, but work with people who can wear multiple hats, and also always have a plan B. Like, we were in a position last year, halfway through our run, where one of our actors booked a really good TV gig, and so we were like, oh crap, we're gonna be out. They gotta leave for 2 performances, and I hadn't really thought about the idea of an understudy really, because it seems so like intimate and insular, and you're like, oh, and we're with my friends, but it's like, oh no, I have to have someone fill in this role. I did it myself, and I don't always don't recommend that necessarily, but have a plan B. Like just expect that crazy shit might happen because it's LA. If they're actors, you're working with actors who are also probably looking for other gigs, and so they could book those other gigs, and you can't really expect someone to turn down like a really high-paying TV gig to do your Fringe show. I mean,
Where's the commitment?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I could be a jackass and be like, "No, I need you there," but then they're gonna be like, "No."
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
get the money.
yeah. So just be prepared for crazy stuff to happen. Like anytime you feel too secure, that's when something crazy is gonna happen.
Oh, that's a scary way to think about it.
Think about that, new Fringers.
I'll jump in here. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I forgot.
I'm big on like 2-word mottos and stuff in my brain to help me with things. And I've been producing not just theater, but I do production work for about 20 years. And for me, what helps keep me level and even-headed, no matter what goes on, is my philosophy of producing. It's 2 words: problem solving. That sets me up. It makes me puts me on the offense. I'm like the pitcher behind the home plate waiting, so that no matter what happens, 10 minutes before your show, someone left a prop at home or someone canceled. No matter what hits you, don't freak out, because your initial, as Stacy said too, we're all theater people, full of passion. But if you keep that in mind, something happens, you're not going to freak. You're going to say, "Wait, what am I? I'm a producer. What do producers do? Problem solve. Problem solving. Let's get at it." It just that little tweak in my mind helps me. No matter what, problem solving. What do I do? I'm a problem solver. So whatever you throw at me, I'm going to be able to take it. And that little tweak can help you not freak out when things happen. So.
Yeah.
I just try to simplify everything, like foolproof. Like anything that I can do myself, like have ready. Like you just Fringe is so sporadic and people are all over the place. You can't ever fault them for forgetting something or running behind or whatever. So I just try to set myself up so I know I'm okay. Like no matter what, I'm gonna be okay. And you'll be fine.
That's the beauty of Fringe. Like at the very end, like don't forget this is Fringe, and as amazing as it is, there's an element of like, to see, if you don't have a prop, like that can be easily a gift from the theater god, while you weirdly improv something to fix that's like weird and different, but like everything can be something. And at the end of the day, if it's just you and the stage and your story and one light, you can make that work. It doesn't have to be your whole beautiful lighting scheme of 3 different, God bless you if you get that, but like sometimes these are gifts as, like we simplify, because if you can do it with that, you can do it with everything else. So,
Yeah.
I think for me, the most important part, the most important element of Fringe, if you're a performer, it's the moments that you are on stage doing your show. And so something happens right beforehand, you can't let it affect you. All that is important is, as Chris just said, when you're on stage and when you're telling your story and people are listening. And so don't get caught up in any kind of other drama or emergencies that happen, because that's going to affect you in that moment. And if you're just a playwright or if you're a playwright or director, again, the moment that the show is going on, that's all that matters. So don't get upset about anything, no matter how disappointed you might be or something crashes down, right before the show. Just focus on the moment the lights are up and you're telling your story. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
I would also add on to that and say, I think there's a tendency that when you're doing a Fringe show, because you're doing it with this tight-knit group of people, and this is just my philosophy, it may not be everybody else's, but there could be a million stresses flying at me if I'm the writer, director, producer. There could be 1,000 things that are happening that I'm like stressing out about and going home and crying about. I try to not let that bleed over to my cast at all. Like they're gonna think that I'm the happiest, most together person in the world, because I just don't like putting that extra thing. And it gets tricky with Fringe a little bit because you feel like such a tight knit family, so it's easy to just kind of like feel like everybody's sharing the load. It's like and maybe that you work differently and that's fine, but for me it's like, no, I want to make sure the cast is able to focus on what they're supposed to focus on. If I'm producing it, that's just my burden, my weight to bear. And then they focus on, if I focus on what I need to do, they focus on what they need to do, we're gonna put out something really good.
Nice. Okay, well, what do you guys, let's talk just like very quickly about a couple more things and then we'll start asking some questions and talking more freely. What about design conversations? Like how do you, is this the time where you're finding people to do your lights and sound and all that stuff? Or how do you find those people? What do you look for? How do you talk to them?
I don't think it's ever too early to look for that. I mean, 50% of the reason that we're back at the Broadwater this year is because we just love working with Rebecca, who was our tech person. She's amazing, and so that was 50% of the reason we went back. Like, I don't want to do another show without Rebecca. And so, I look at it maybe a little differently in the sense of like, I mean, I ran a theater company before I moved to LA for about a decade, and so I've literally, there's not a hat I haven't worn. So like, I walked into the Broadwater the first day and was like, oh, I know this thing, I know this board, like, and I just kind of did it all myself. I know everybody can't do that, but I think, I definitely think if you can do, I'm just one of those, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself. Like, I don't think you have to have those things. I think they certainly can help. If you have the resources to do it and you want to do it, I think take advantage of it for sure. Because I don't think you can have too many creative cooks in the kitchen in that regard. But if you can do it yourself, I think do it yourself. You don't need to do it. Don't.
Yeah, I just need like a light, So I don't need a lighting designer, I just need someone to run the board, and that's. And usually, probably it might be built into your contracts of what your spaces are. But I would say if you haven't, if that's for some reason not, and you need someone to run your board, I get that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and reach out. You feel like you have to reach out to your community. You have to reach out to there's a lot of Facebook groups for theater. You could be posting in. You could be they're out. The people that can run your board are out there, but. Yeah, secure that now if you don't have it.
Before they
Your
get
shows
booked
have
out.
been kind of elaborate with like costumes and props and scenery and stuff, right?
I've never hired anyone.
Yeah, but that's what I'm.
Oh.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, how
much, because it's Fringe and you have a usually 15-minute load in, load out, you're like, what can I do with as little as possible, but like make the most impact? And that's what your problem-solving detective work. Like, how can I make this theater magic where you can see how it's broken down and how it's moving and how it's working, and you can appreciate that I put thought into that, hopefully. And then like you should have some sort of tactile experience. But like I always try to keep it like minimal. Like last year, we're like, if we had a bucket on stage full of Epsom salts and that would create a smell, like that was just a sensation that we got to play with. Like we made coffee on stage. Like little things you can do that amp up the production, but you don't fucking kill yourself. And your cues, I would not go easy on your cues, and who's ever running your board.
And we utilize I utilize multimedia a lot in all my stuff. I did last year and I do this year, and for me that's an easy way to control some of that stuff. Like if it makes sense organically, not doing it for the sake of doing it, but like I don't have to necessarily have this immersive set with all these props because I can just do a lot with projection.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do that. I think it's an easy way to do it. I, on the other hand, am like, I'm going to inundate Rebecca with as many cues as I possibly can. I think that's another way to kind of like condense down what you're doing. And if you've got a good person running the board, it shouldn't be an issue. And, I haven't met anybody yet. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but I haven't met anybody yet who does the tech for Fringe doesn't do a good job. So
yeah.
I think if they're working with your venue and they're using them, I think you're probably going to be in capable hands.
And also outside of designers or board operators, think outside the box just for getting yourself help. When I did the show that I had written 2 years ago, I had two friends run my house and box office that had never been involved in theater whatsoever. But I asked them, they were friends in my life, and I said, do you think you could help out? It's really simple, this is what you do. And they stepped up and said, sure, and they loved it, the whole experience, because it was totally outside the realm of what they had ever done in their lives. Just helping run the house again and taking care of the box office. You don't be afraid to ask friends just because they have no theater experience, because you never know who could come in and help you and have the time of their life.
Yeah, and your non-theater friends are not inundated all the goddamn time like with other shows. Like, your non-theater friends are the ones that are gonna be excited about your show and be like, oh my, you're doing something? And like, they're gonna be so excited to have a night out, It's like, I have friends that are all comics that are like, yeah, I mean, I have 4 other shows, I'm doing that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So especially, with box office and stuff like that, like.
Or even backstage, just,
Yeah.
don't overlook people just because you think, oh, well, they've never done anything like that, so they wouldn't be able to help me. You never know.
And I do think it's beneficial to have, like, I know a lot of people probably think, oh, I just need one person running front of house. I think it's beneficial to have 2 people if you can get them. Because you got to have someone checking people in, having someone, like, managing line control or whatever, like, just anything that could pop up. Even if it's like, oh, I need you to run backstage and tell the cast something, like, having that extra person is, like, really beneficial. And that's something I didn't do last year that this year I was like, we're going to correct that.
It also helps, I don't know if this is getting off track, but there's so many shows you go and see, and the people are filing in the audience. They see the ticket person outside, and then they come in, and they're sitting in an empty theater, and maybe the show doesn't have pre-show music. I had 2 people for exactly that reason, because someone's doing the tickets out front, but there's someone right inside the door of the theater. My friend Matt, who's a big talker. So every person that came in, every audience member was, hey y'all, how you doing? Thanks for coming. And then as they're sitting there for 5 or 10 minutes waiting, he's engaging them and talking to them. Just it adds a little more to the experience instead of just having people sitting there in dead silence and audience is awkward, like what are we doing? All those little things can help put them in the mood to be receptive to your show.
Yeah. Have some
That's
pre-show
great.
music.
And to give you a good review.
I got a pre-show music.
Yes. It's a playlist. Make that playlist.
It's easy to forget about something like that in this kind of environment. You got like 15 minutes to put up your set, but it does really make a difference. I mean, like sometimes when you go in and you see that pre-show thing going on, you're like, oh, they really thought about stuff.
Yeah.
They thought about all those details. So I think my last question before we open it up to everybody else is just, so once Fringe is over, what do you do? How do you make, or is it all recovery? Do you make the most of the momentum? Like what happens after Fringe?
That's a good question.
I think that is such. I think there's so many different answers to that. I think. I think last year for us, I think there was about a month of recovery where it was just I just tuned out of basically any. Well, that's actually not true. After we have
The extension.
The extension.
Yeah,
so
I was
after
gonna
the
say,
extension,
it doesn't end.
when Fringe is over, it's not necessarily really over.
Yeah.
And they, like Matt does extensions for like 9 months after Fringe. I feel like so.
Yeah.
They're always going on, and but after that extension, I just kind of checked out for a little while so I could just kind of convalesce and relax. But then it was just sort of, then we shifted our attention to like what are we going to do with the show next, which what did we learn from Fringe? Were there things that we learned that we want to change, that we want to kind of make better? And then, luckily we took it to New York later that year. But I mean, there was a lot that changed because of the Fringe run that was really helpful into getting it into better shape, I think. So.
I mean, maybe you're in a solo show. Maybe you wanted to invite some industry contacts, and some of those industry contacts came. There's so many answers at the end of this question. It's like that's if you have a show, but maybe you're a solo performer and you tried to use this to either engage either people in the industry. So I would say follow up, thank you cards or emails or something. That might be what you're trying to get accomplished, and so. Trying to get some lunch meetings or meetings, might be the next part of your agenda while you have the momentum. If it's a show, using all the reviews, putting them together, updating your PR packet, definitely. Then also sleep. So it's going to be personal to each one of you, but it's going to be a mixture of all that and probably an encore, an extension. That's how I believe in you all. That's what you're here right now. So.
Yeah, and if you don't, there's a couple different extension programs that happen as part of the award ceremony, but people are also very capable of getting their own setup somewhere else, and I've seen that plenty of time.
Yeah.
And people go on and do a successful run of their show somewhere else in Los Angeles, not even in Hollywood sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's also a possibility for you if you don't get an extension.
I've just gotten a shit ton of work, I think, afterward, meeting Fringe people and seeing what people are working. I want to work with, what are you doing? Can I come audition? After I started Fringe, I've been going. There's just so many people doing things year round. When you think it's just in the summer, no, people are cooking constantly. Be curious and ask questions and see what you can get involved in.
Yeah, that's super. I mean, that happens a lot. Someone who came and saw our show last year, I mean, she wrote the play that I'm doing this year. She came up to us immediately after Fringe and was like, I've got this show, I want to do it, will you direct it, and will he be in it? And we were like, and we're always like, just say yes. So we're like, sure. And then so this year we're doing that show, and so like it happens very organically. So
Yeah, we've seen a lot of cool relationships happen as a result of like one artist meeting another artist, and they decide they're going to do a new production together, and we've seen Fringe marriages and all sorts of things. Okay, so I mean, it's really true.
well, I mean, technically the lead actors from my show and her show last year are currently dating, so that it fits right into that.
There you go. You could find your soulmate.
Yeah.
On top of all the rest. Okay.
Don't expect it. Manage your expectations.
That's right. If you come in expecting to get married, you might be disappointed.
That was like, you know, I can't remember.
But now I want to open it up to you guys. So if you could just like raise your hand, and then when I call on you, if you could just say your name and what show you're a part of, and then we'll try to get through everybody, and then we'll go have drinks together.
Yeah, drinks.
Here in the front with the ears.
Yes, I'm Christy Pedigo. My show is Bunny the Elf Live. It's a solo show, and I have 2 kids. They're not in my show, but they're my helpers. And I'm just wondering if you have any advice for what to expect for fringing with kids. They are teenager and preteen. So a lot of the shows, you know, I've been asking people when I meet, is it kid friendly? Is it something my kids might like? And so I'm looking at that, but also just if you either have children or if you know people that have fringed with kids, what should I expect? Any advice?
Well, and I'm so sorry that I haven't, but I'll just say this. I do know that you can search literally family-friendly shows. Oh, you don't know that part.
I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah, you talk about this.
Yeah. Do you guys have kids?
No.
I have a 5-year-old, and almost no shows are appropriate for her.
Right.
I mean, and it does vary from year to year, but I have already searched for this year, kind of being like, will she do this? There's usually always a small handful of shows, at least, that she can go to. I would think that kids that old could probably see a lot more.
Right.
And I know that there are a lot of people put age suggestions on their shows, and you can search for that. If you just click family friendly, all the age suggestions will pop up too. And I would say still use your discretion as a parent, but because sometimes people don't know what is appropriate for children, especially if they don't have children. But we have a lot of venues that are 18 plus or 21 plus around here. I think most of the theaters are not that case, but a lot of the bars and restaurants are around here. And I know, sometimes it's a bit of a neighborhood to bring your kids into sometimes, especially at night. But it's definitely possible, and there's definitely places that they can go. If you need any assistance with that, you're always going to be able to come over to Fringe Central to ask us about stuff, and we can help you figure out where you can be. And
Fringe Central's
all that.
gonna be family friendly.
It's going to be 18 plus too, because we're going to be selling booze there. So you'll be able to, we'll be able to come out to you. Like we're not going to be like, sorry, you can't come in, and now we won't talk to you. Like,
And there's a public pool just a block away. You can drop your kids off for the whole day. That is a joke. That is a joke.
there's a lot of cool cafes and stuff around here that are great, that I think most teenagers would probably like, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been one.
And my show is called Son of a Bitch. Please feel free to bring them. I let them learn about Republican politics.
Okay, who else has a question? Yes, up there, the gray sweatshirt.
Oh, so my name's Farah. I'm doing Leading Prince Charming. Memorize the photo in your brain. No. And my question is, so in the past I've had to pay reviewers to come see my show, which makes complete sense, but are there any reviewers that you know of that you don't pay or it's a complicated?
I say for the majority of people at Fringe, do they?
No.
I would say majority don't.
Like the critics?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
stage
Yeah.
raw won't, like, yeah,
Okay.
stage raw won't make you pay is what I'm trying to say. And I think that because you're gonna get a lot of bloggers,
Yeah.
those bloggers, you should not be paying
Yeah.
those bloggers.
I would say for the most part, you probably shouldn't be paying.
Yeah,
reviews.
screw
Yeah.
that. Screw
You'll
that.
get
Yeah.
plenty of people who are willing to do it without
Yeah.
you paying them.
Yeah.
Audience members, other participants, and press, I would say. I think there's probably only been a couple publications at Fringe that I know for sure were charging for reviews.
Like one.
Yeah. Yes, the red shirt.
Sort of a follow-up question. My name's Chris Valenti. I'm doing straight white men trying to woke this year.
Okay. Good title.
I'm in.
In the process of it.
I did a play 2 years ago at Fringe, and I just have a question. The audience critiques had the option. Now, just mind you, like 90% were really, really good, but some were mean, and they had the option to write a review anonymously. Is that still the same thing?
I believe so. Yeah.
Just preparing myself.
Yeah. Yeah, we have changed the system a lot over the years.
Back and forth, right?
And we found that giving people the ability to be anonymous allowed people to feel like they could more freely express themselves. I think the flip side of that is that you get people feeling free to be nasty.
Yeah.
But we found that people were more accurate when we gave them that option. Because I think before that, people felt too compelled to say nice things all the time. And we still get a lot of great support from each other, but we do also want to give each other constructive criticism and stuff like that as well. But I am sorry that you had some mean
I
comments.
promoted all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
I thought that they were all valuable, but I was like, wow, because I ironically did a play last time on public shaming, and then that play got publicly shamed.
Yes, in the front.
Hi, my name is Heidi Carpenter. Hi. My show is called More or Less. It is the opposite of family friendly. My 10-year-old will not be there. It is a theatrical cabaret from 3 performers. My particular passion with diversity, my platform is anti-ageism. So it is all about love and sex over 35, more complicated than ever. And so you guys kind of touched on it. My question is the process of, it's a cabaret and I'd like to apply for the cabaret. Can you talk me through that process a little bit, because I found it a little mysterious.
Yes. So we haven't opened up the submission process for it quite yet. There will be an online form that you'll just fill out with a bunch of information.
On the website,
it'll be like a Google form.
Yeah.
But we'll put it in the newsletter where you can go get it. We'll put it on social. If you follow at HFF Cabaret on Twitter, she updates that all the time with relevant info. And yeah, we should be putting out a newsletter about that probably in the next week or two, with more details and the links to the forums and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, sorry. I'm sorry if I didn't hear you. My name's Karina. My show's from lap dance to Sundance. Did you say earlier that when someone buys a ticket, you know how you can see the email and their name, they can review your show? They can choose whether or not to review your show. And where does that review appear?
On your show page.
There's a review tab.
But you can turn them off too. You can choose not to have reviews if you'd like. I know a lot of people that are workshopping their shows are like, okay, we don't need to hear about all this stuff. Like we'll ask people in person, you know. Some people like to do it that way. But yeah, they'll appear right on your show. People that bought tickets online will all receive an email right after your show saying, hey, review this. And but it is also nice for you to say, you're gonna get that email, because it's, again, you have to hear things 3 or 4 times for it to really set in. Does that answer your question?
So we can turn that off?
You can turn reviews off, right, Dave?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't delete individuals, but you can.
You can't delete individual reviews.
You can have all or none.
You can have all or none. Yes.
And I would say, I mean, personally, I love getting reviews. Like, it's last year that was, and we didn't get all, you know, they weren't all glowing. We got some pretty, you know, we got some good criticism in there as well. But I think, I mean, as someone who goes to Fringe, like, also in addition to performing, I mean, I do go look at reviews when I'm trying to decide what shows I want to see.
Yeah.
That's a big tool I think a lot of people use for deciding what they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, this is a hard business. You're gonna get rejected all the goddamn time on social media, on the comments of everything that you do. Everything people will have an opinion of, and you don't even know who that person is and what their like background is. So, do you and what is good for your own self-care. You know yourself better than anyone, but like at the same time, use this as a tool to just water under a fucking bridge or brush it off a duck's back. You know what I'm saying? You know, like use this opportunity to get a thick fucking skin.
Yeah. And I mean, it is a supportive community, but I mean, it's still life, right?
Yeah, still life.
Yes.
Hi, my name's Marla. My show is called Raised by Wolves, about growing up with a Down syndrome teen.
Have you guys ever had that experience?
I think that I think it's a spoiler alert. I think that people would be kind enough in reviews to not give it away. I mean, I can't imagine someone being that daft. I mean, I don't want to say that and then suddenly that's what happens on your page. I mean, yeah. By the way, it's me. Yeah, I mean, I've read reviews where, I think I said, like, they'll hint at something to come, they'll hint at, like, like a surprise ending or something like that. You might get that.
That's fine.
Oh.
I was just like, oh no.
So like, she was actually dead the whole time,
Yeah.
A lot of the time, too, people will tell you that they're going to write a review. And what I did last year, we didn't have a twist ending by any respect. We did have our show ended with something that I thought was really fun in the moment, and not something I wanted people. So if someone said they were going to write a review, I would just say, awesome, thank you so much. I would just mention, don't mention the ending. Like, don't mention the ending. I think a lot of people would have known not to anyway, especially theater people. But I just said it in a very non-abrasive way, just like, hey, don't mention the ending.
Don't spoil the ending.
Yeah, don't spoil the ending, and no one did. So.
There's been a couple like blogists who like decided to tell the whole plot, and that it does
Just a
happen.
bad writer.
Yeah, it's just like they didn't know what to say, so they just sort of told the story.
Yeah.
I mean, you can reach out to them, but also like, it's just one thing on one site that somebody they like the show that you can just keep that as a hug for yourself. That's what I do. And don't worry about it, because they're gonna say what they need to say. You'll be like, cool.
And probably anybody that's like interested in coming to see your show will start to realize what's happening as they're reading the review too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to read this. Okay. Who is? Oh, did you need?
I just had, and can
Follow-
you talk a little bit about extensions? Like everybody keeps referring to them, but is it like, are you paying for extensions? What
No.
No.
We will not be paying for your extension.
Yeah.
So how it works is it's different with the different programs that we've got.
Is there more than one?
Well, yes, there's the Broadwater.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
right.
runs a separate thing
Right.
from Best of Fringe Extension or whatever that's called now. What is it called now? I don't know what it's called. Matt Quinn runs it. You guys all know him. They will come around and start seeing shows, and they just like, how many shows is it usually every year? 50 shows, 50, 60 shows that they select. There will be a notification about what sponsored awards are happening this year, mid-May, I would say. That sponsored award list, usually you have to contact the people individually if you want them to come see your show, because they're looking for specific content or specific types of things. So really keep an eye out for that. Matt sometimes requires that you get in, usually he does, require that you get in contact to say that you want to be considered for an extension. So don't just count that somebody's going to come in and be like, you'll do it. Make sure that you apply for those sponsored awards. And there'll be sponsored awards that will probably be like perfect for your show. You'll look through it and be like, oh crap, like this is the perfect award for us to win. So make sure you keep your eyes out for those. That's a really big thing to be able to do mid-May. Who's next? Who wants to ask a question? Yes.
Hi, I'm Mike Shapiro. My show is The Bully Problem, which is family friendly, so send me all your kids who can't go into any of the other shows.
Smart man.
There was some discussion about the timing of buying ads on the Fringe website. I'm just curious if you have any tips as to when it makes the most sense to buy those ads.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you were saying you can buy them at any time
You
and
can buy
turn them
them
off and
anytime.
on.
Yeah,
right?
you turn them off and on, I think. Because I've learned this the stupid way. Like, every click, like, counts as a view. So you have, I don't know if you know this, like, when you purchase a certain amount of clicks. And, like, if that ad is just on, like, you don't know, like, it's not even May 1st and your ad is up and you're out $75, or how much. So, like, just being conscious of when people are, like, sniffing around the Fringe site, like, who's, like usually around office hours, people are like, ooh, maybe who will I see? But like all throughout, like May 1st, I do like the first couple of days, and then the last 2 weeks before previews is usually when I hit the hardest, because that's when people are actually putting their schedules together. We're all procrastinators, it's fine.
And part of what I was saying earlier when I was saying like getting a marketing plan together, that's part of it, I think. Like I had very specific times when I wanted ads running, like May 1st, obviously I wanted ads running. after office hours, anytime we got a new review on the site, we would make the ad live. Like, we would try to do like targeted things like that to kind of really maximize it. And then sometimes we would just, run one for a week straight, just for the hell of it. But I think if you can find those targeted times that make the most sense, I think that's going to maximize and give you more bang for your buck.
And like maybe consider making 2 ads for the site, because sometimes like we get used to seeing one all the time, and then we'll be like suddenly like halfway through, like or the beginning of June, there's a new picture for the same show. You're like, wait, what is this? I don't know. That could be interesting as well.
Yeah,
I never
that's a
thought
good
of
idea.
that. That's smart.
Good idea.
Steal that.
Yes. You.
I'm Rami, and my show is called The Ride. It's a solo show. I have a question of like, what do you think is like maybe the most creative promotional strategy? Like in terms of like just postcards, I've heard that people might give you like a chip clip with a magnet, and you could put it on your refrigerator.
I still use that chip clip.
Or something like that, or a
Slap bracelets. Somebody had slap bracelets.
People love buttons.
Buttons.
Yeah.
And like, do you feel like that helps? Like, does that like get people? It's better than just the postcard that you have a stack of. Or...
So I think it can be beneficial to have both, but if you have something that's different, it's going to stand out. When we have 390 shows or however many shows we have, if your marketing materials are different than other people, it's going to stand out.
And something that relates to the show.
Yours could be like The Ride. Yours could be like like toy cars, or like cheap, or like I don't know.
It's hard to make a chip clip.
And if you do have an idea or something, downtown, the toy district, you can go into these shops. There's a couple of streets off south of Los Angeles that you can go in there and buy things for pennies on the dollar. Big box of little tiny cards or something like that could help you. So you're not spending a lot of money on things.
Yeah, totally.
Branded condoms.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Branded condoms.
I should have done that.
Temporary tattoos. That was fun last year.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Well, like they're walking around with your show on their face. Like that's like awesome. Like that's free publicity right there.
Yeah. There's, if you just, I mean, like, I think they're just like, also like discount, there's people, I'll finish the statement. Like, remember how Theater Unleashed used to do that thing where like the previews would be like a penny, or previews would be like 25 cents?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, that's kind of a great marketing scheme, like, I don't know, you can do fun things like that too, that can be free for you.
We've seen people do flash mobs. We've seen people do like spontaneous poetry readings, or like reading what was reading Moby Dick.
The kids that protested our opening night party a couple years ago.
Right, yeah. So because the festival isn't super child friendly, we did have some high school students or middle school students that were doing and they came to the opening night party with signs and like acted the whole time like they were protesting the opening night party because they couldn't get in. It was brilliant marketing.
And it's fucking smart. There was like River Phoenix like party, why can't I?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That's hilarious.
I just thought of this too as far as promoting. It's a good idea, your first or second shows of the festival, make them free for all Fringe volunteers.
Yeah.
Because these people work really hard throughout the Fringe, number one, and then they also are always talking to people when they're out and handling crowds and whatever. So, give them that option to be able to come see your show for free.
Yeah, when you said volunteers, I thought you were just going to say fringers. Make your 2 shows free for fringers. Because like the word of mouth when you're at, because listen, like after you talk about your show and you talk about the other person's show, then the thing is like, what have you seen that you liked? And that is when you get your gold, honey. That's when that's what happened. That's what happened with me. Like people would come see my show and talk about it. Like it wasn't a dark show. It was really like weird and funny. And so like I got a lot of word of mouth, and like I had people that weren't involved in my show that I had never met just like talking up my show. And that's how it helped me.
Yeah, you could do with other Fringe shows. If you hit it off with people,
Swamps?
Comp swaps,
yeah.
You know.
And also, like what we did last year is we made sure we held back a certain number of tickets for like Fringe volunteers and stuff, just so we knew we weren't going to be in a place where like if
And
folks
not
showed
a
up-
lot, right?
Not a lot, no,
Yeah.
no, not a lot. I mean, I think we held 3 tickets
Yeah.
for each show. We also used to, I mean, I think there may be different thoughts on this. We also put our show on Gold Star and Today Ticks.
Yeah.
We got about 5 per show from those combined. Not a lot, but still, it's a good way to like market your shows on those sites. And they generally require you give some level of a discount on there. We always do like a 50% discount if you get off there, but you can kind of do that the way you want to do it.
And you can also do flyer and programs exchange. Like 2 years ago, where I work, 2 other guys were also doing shows. You know, we've all worked together 20 years, and so we just stuffed our flyers in each other's programs.
Yeah.
To help promote.
That's a very popular way of cross promoting with Fringe over the last few years. A lot of people are doing that, and it's been pretty great.
Yeah, it's being able to stand up after their show and be like, I know we have some Fringers in the house tonight. Who's here? And then like right after their show, if you saw their show, you'd be like, oh hi, I'm here. I guess I have my show. And then like that's like word of like that's another beautiful thing that happens when you actually go see other people's shows. Like things happen, guys.
And also, on just pops in my head, on the day of your show, even if you don't have the time to do it, have one of your friends or someone go out last minute, even up to 30 minutes before the show, hit Fringe Central. Just say, hey, is anyone, our show's about to start, does anyone have a free hour and you want to see something, you don't know what? Even last minute, you can drag people in.
A couple things. You do need to sell 50% of your tickets through the Fringe site, but you can sell other tickets through other sites, and it is great for pulling in other audience. But do make sure that you still keep your 50% with us. And
Give
then,
them the money.
Also, what was I gonna say? Never mind. Yes.
Well, just some like logistical questions about the site, and maybe that's not this is. That stuff can constantly be updated. Like I could change ticket prices, I could change what's available. Maybe I could change the description if I wanted to.
You can at any time. The only thing that's not going to change is what you've submitted for our guide.
For the guide.
So the guide proof, I would suggest not having information be conflicting between the printed guide and the website as much as possible. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but yeah, I would try to make sure that those match. I mean, the description can be a little different, and you can add reviews. People add like the highlights of their reviews and stuff in the description as Fringe goes on a lot of the time.
But your starting time and end time should remain the same if possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Length of show.
Add discount codes throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, who else has questions? Okay, yes?
You talked about volunteers watching the shows for free. I already had gotten the Stina's email.
Yes.
To let her know to put me on the spreadsheet.
Yep. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Okay, I haven't heard back from her. Should I hit her up one more time?
She has been kind of out of town with a family emergency, but she should be getting back in touch with people pretty soon about that. And she's always great about making sure it gets out to all the volunteers and stuff. We just don't, a lot of the volunteers aren't in place yet. So a lot of them come in June, so we probably won't have a lot of updates for you about that until a little closer to the festival.
And then how do we let it be known that other Fringers can watch our show? Did you say like discounted or for free?
Yeah, I would suggest using discount codes, and you can just spread those word of mouth or on your postcards or
On your
social
site.
media.
The Facebook group,
Yeah, and come to the next town hall because they get really into depth about all of the discount codes and all that stuff, and it's really, really useful. Ben
During
is
the
the
Twitter
tech
chat?
person, so don't ask me about the tech stuff. You could ask Dave. Okay, who else? Yes.
Hi, my name's Io Magic. I'm doing a one-woman show called The Girl from Schenectady. And you kind of already just touched on this a little bit. What I was going to ask is I thought of it when he asked this question. Discount codes. I didn't know, you said I already have them on postcards and things like that and word of mouth, but does it need to be also on the guide proof and all that other stuff? That there's a discount if you buy 2 tickets, or it doesn't have to? I can just, okay, just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It almost is better that you didn't, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
because,
really?
well, because you want to be able to give your discount code to who you want to give it to, right?
Exactly.
You don't want just everybody to know
Exactly.
Because
Right.
your rich friends, let them pay full
Yeah,
price.
they pay full price.
Exactly.
And even if you're doing like a free ticket, just always pay what you can. Cause you never know if somebody's gonna put a couple
That's
dollars
smart.
in. Like,
That's
you
true.
give people opportunity to pay you for your art. Like,
Yeah.
like give them like yes for free, but also like if you liked it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, who else has questions? Back in the back there, my friend Benny.
My name is Benny. I'm producing Red Bar this year. Secret show, invite only. I have a question about the ton of events that happens throughout the year. I don't know if I missed that because I was late, but are there any new events this year, and do we still get to vote on the prom theme?
Yes. We do still get to vote on the prom theme. That's one of my favorite things that we do every year. That will be happening mostly on social media. In May. And we'll have like a week or two voting period where you can suggest nominations and then ultimately decide what the prom theme will be.
And we'll announce our.
We have other events that we're going to be announcing very shortly, but we will still be obviously having our opening night party and closing night party and award ceremony, which we have every year, and then we do have another few events that are going to be happening as well, and they're very exciting. But we're not quite ready to tell you about them. So who else has a question? Yes, in the back.
Hi, I'm Eric the Priester. My show is called Treason. And I know this varies show to show. Like I've heard musicals and big casts, the tickets sell a lot sooner. But somebody was telling me the other day, like everybody in LA shows up day of and just buys tickets last minute. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, did you sell about 50% of your tickets before the shows actually started happening? Did you get almost all walkouts? Like, just any sort of guidance towards that end?
I definitely did not sell 50%. I mean, like, I think that once the show actually started to run, I would still really not sell out until, like, day before, you know? Like, that's usually how it is. One way, I think, to, like, try and get people to commit is a discount code. Oh, no, it's this. It's saying, if you buy your ticket online using this discount code, it's this amount of money. Ticket to the door is this amount of money.
Yeah.
And make the goddamn tickets to the door more expensive. Make them $20 so you don't have to worry about cash or change, I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also tell them that parking's hard, you know? So, like, just get them prepped for everything.
Yeah, ours was a little different. I mean, we probably, before our first show, I think we probably had sold like right around 50% of what we ultimately sold. We didn't have a lot of walk-ups. Ours were generally, I mean, we might have had, except for like Fringe volunteers, it was mostly pre-sales that happened. So
most of your walk-ups will probably be Fringe volunteers or staffers. Honestly.
Yeah, we would occasionally have some random person walk up being like, "I know nothing about your show. I know nothing about Fringe. This is my like," and it's like, "Awesome, come on in."
Yeah.
Yep.
You weirdo, you know.
Who else has questions?
The back.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Ross. My solo show is called The Sexual Misadventures of a Straight White Male, A Privileged Story.
See, like right there and then.
Yeah.
Already,
Yeah.
friendship. You guys
Tom
should be
Swap.
My question is to the panel participants, has there been anything that you were like, I'm sure this is going to work, this is a great idea, and then it didn't? In terms of marketing,
that's a good question.
or strategies, or things that you were like, oh, I know this is going to work, but you put the time and energy and it didn't turn out the way that you hoped.
I would say that honestly, this is my honest thing is that my extension didn't turn out the way I thought that it was going to.
Yeah.
I thought that I was going to. I had won awards. I thought that my extension was just going to be like just full of money for me. You know, like I that's what my problem was. I expected money at one point, and it came back and bit me in the butt. You know, like. Because there's also like a certain amount of momentum after Fringe that slows down because people are going back to their lives because a lot of people have seen your show now. You've exhausted reserves, you know, and so I think that's something that. Now, having said that, I still have people come see my show, and I still had fun. But I think that my expectations had gotten too high at that point, and so that's something that was different for me. Truthfully.
Well, the extension season is different than Fringe season.
Yeah.
It's like not the same, right? I mean, it's
different energy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Other challenges? I saw some smiles over there.
I would say, I mean, we didn't do, I don't feel like we did anything too crazy in terms of how we promoted our show. I feel like if we did anything that looking back on, we overdid it in terms of like, we printed way too many postcards, we printed way too many posters. We didn't know it was our first year. We figured it out at the end. It was like, holy crap, we've got all this stuff left over. So this year will not be an issue. But I would say, yeah, just be mindful of that sort of thing. Like you're going to get all excited and think, oh, I need to, I'm going to find a way to use all of this stuff. Surely, it's like maybe.
How
not.
many postcards do you think people need?
I would say start out with. I mean, we last year we did.
No, I want to know.
Last year we did 5,000.
That's so many trees.
It was like surely we're gonna get rid of 5,000 postcards. Of course we would. So I would honestly recommend like this year we're starting out with 500. And if we want to order more, we'll order more. And last year we didn't go nearly as big on posters, but we still printed 100 posters.
Oh my God.
Didn't need 100 posters. This year we're going to start at 25 and go from there. So just that's why. And I even attended this exact same workshop last year and still printed all that shit. You're getting the good stuff here.
Yes.
Any shows do like merch?
Yeah.
For purchase?
I think so. Have any of you guys ever done that?
We didn't do any, but I will buy it if people do. I am your customer.
People do CDs, you know, like I remember that, you know, like I want to do merch for mine, but yeah, like I would say if it's your first Fringe and, you know, don't worry about it, you know, like I think that's down the line, I think a little bit, because you might just be spending money, you know, just like if you have the money to spend it, but like I don't think that you're gonna recoup anything really, but like I think I think it's better to spend that money for your promo stuff at this point than merch, I would say. If you've done a bunch of Fringes and this is your torn show, that's I think a different story.
Give yourself space to work on the art. I think is the most important thing. Like a lot of people want to like all the bells and whistles and what could I do and how can I market, but really like this time should be spent making your art amazing and ready for Fringe. Like none of this like running up to the end half-assed because you were working on t-shirts. Like put the energy where you need to, and if you've got time for merch, then fucking great. But I honestly think it can depend. Like it depends on the show and what your kitsch is. But like what's really gonna sell the story and make the most impact is where you should be putting your focus.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions?
Just to follow up about that real quick, I'm thinking about promoting, definitely going to do a Fringe ad. I think I'm going to promote Facebook, Instagram, Twitter posts. Are any of those better or worse platforms? Like, can you find more success on Instagram, for example, or just kind of?
I think the Twitter maybe not as important, but what is important is going during the Twitter chats.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be like, because like you get a lot of Fringers at that time, and Twitter's a hard medium for theater, I think, because it's not as visual, so you can't like, Instagram a fucking picture and or a video. Buy more than one Instagram. I would put more on Instagram and Facebook because you can do like a video of your rehearsal or your trailer that you cut together, or you know like as rehearsal pictures or your poster. You know, so I think that use that visual mediums like Facebook and Instagram over Twitter. I think.
And also, I was reminded of this. You know, your link that you'll be sending out for your Fringe Facebook page. You know, it's going to say Hollywood Fringe / blah 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 and all this stuff. Even if you don't have a regular website account, you can go to like GoDaddy or any of those, spend $10 or something. And what I had done with my show, like say Texas Loves Lila was the name of the show, so I bought the domain texasloveslila.com. And then once you have that, I assigned that to forward to my Hollywood Fringe page. So that I just put that on everything. So I didn't have to have a bunch of numbers and what have you for my link. And it was easy to tell people to put on my flyers and everything, texasloveslila.com, the name of the show, So it directs, and you can direct it to anywhere you want, to your Fringe page, or link it with hashtag Texas Loves Lila for Twitter or whatever they use and all that. It just helps. Because again, just with the name, you just want to have the name out there as much as possible, so that people, there's one thing they go to, and it directs them everywhere.
Yeah. We did all of the social media last year for our show, and yeah, Twitter, it was not successful for us. I feel like this year we just stripped it down. We got an Instagram, and then we ditched Facebook in terms of like last year we created like a page and we did all this, and no one cared about the page, they just cared about the event. So this year we're doing an Instagram and doing a Facebook event page, because then we can boost the event if you need to. Twitter, not much success, and like I said, limited success with like going all out on Facebook. But it really just depends on your show. I mean, your show just may be a lot more engaging than ours was on like Facebook or Twitter. So I think it kind of just depends on what you want to do and what platforms you're most comfortable with. And
use hashtags, and you definitely are using hashtag HFF19.
Absolutely.
You know, and hashtag LA Theater, if that rings true to you. You know.
I think Facebook is best for. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw people writing things down. THDR.
LATHDR.
Yeah. Okay.
Facebook is best for like Fringe news. If you're on like the Fringe Festival page, like there's all the updates on like how to deal with equity actors and all these questions, and that's really great. Instagram is best for like if you're just promoting your show. I don't like. I bless you guys who do like show accounts. Where is the fucking app? Like just being myself as a person, you know, and then trying to put myself into like the I don't. Yeah. So. Yeah, Instagram for photos, but Twitter, I've actually, like, the Twitter chats are the shit. Like, I don't, like, it goes fast, but there are people that are, you know, just stopping by and seeing what's happening. And I've actually had somebody that I met on Twitter come to my show because of the Twitter chat, and then go turn around next year and do his own show. Like, that happened because of that, and that was just one person because I just showed up on the internet for an hour. You know, it was fun. So.
Okay.
Each one has their benefit, I think.
If you still have a question, please raise your hand now. Oh, just fun. Okay, great. We'll finish up with you.
My name is James Kirkland. I'm doing a show called Lord of the Lies, One Man's Journey to the Flat Earth and Back. What and when are Twitter chats?
Twitter chats happen just about, I think, every other week, and some are on Mondays at 7 and some are on Saturdays at noon, because we just try to change up the schedule so different people can come based on their schedules. The next one is this Monday at 7 p.m. All you have to do, you follow the @HollywoodFringe account, and the @HollywoodFringe account sort of moderates it and asks some questions to keep the conversation going, but it all devolves into madness.
Yep.
And you just use the hashtag HFF19 in all the tweets that you use so that people can follow along. And that's kind of how you keep track of the whole conversation, is by tracking that hashtag. But they're a lot of fun. Real easy.
Yeah.
You
Great.
don't even have to get dressed.
You don't even have to get dressed.
That's the best part. Yeah.
Do it in the bathtub. Whatever.
Don't drop your phone though.
Don't
Unless
drop
it's
your
a
phone.
new phone. Yeah.
Get one of those bathtub things. You know.
Oh yeah, like
little
a fancy,
desks.
like yeah.
Well, thank you guys all so much for coming. We really like seeing new faces, and so please come up and talk to the panelists. I'm inviting you to talk to them and to me, and to any of our staff members. And then, you know, please come on over to the Plunge just down the street this way. Have some discounted drinks and tell some people about your show with your non-robotic elevator pitch. Thank you guys.